Hey everybody, Jen Thompson back with another question and answer in our series with author of best-selling books, two best-selling books, Good Pictures, Bad Pictures, and Good Pictures, Bad Pictures Junior. Welcome, Kristen Jenson. Thanks for being with me today.
Thanks, Jen. I love talking to you.
We love hearing your expert advice and your stories and your wisdom. You bring a lot to the table, and we're thankful. So today's question, let's jump right in. Today's question is, how do you teach a child what boundaries are and how to communicate with others? And that's funny because I know myself as an adult, I'm still working on that. So
Yeah,
from the perspective of porn proofing children and all the things that
right,
Professional Minds does,
right,
how do we teach children these boundaries and to communicate with other people?
right. Well, I think part of it, as we begin to talk with children about the dangers on the internet and about pornography, um, we need to, as we give them a plan so they know exactly what to do, that actually helps them instill their own boundaries. So I'll give you an example. There was a young little boy, and his mom had read him Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. I think he was like 7 years old or somewhere around there. And he went to school. Maybe he was more like 10. I don't know. 7 to 10. My memory. Anyway, he's this young boy, and he goes to school on the school bus, comes home. He's walking with his little friend, and they get to the friend's mailbox. And the friend pulls out the mail, and included in that mail is, a pornographic magazine. And I don't know if it was Hustler or Playboy or whatever, but out comes the magazine, and the little boy starts flipping through it like no big deal,
Okay.
And the other little boy was like, "That's pornography." And he said, "What? What's that?" He goes, "Pornography. Those are pictures of people with little or no clothes on that focus." That he basically gave him the definition, and then he said, "And you can get to the point where you can't stop looking at it, and can't stop thinking about it. So it's not good to look at." And the little boy kind of just closed and walked into his house. Obviously, this had been normalized in that family. But this little boy went home and talked to his mom, told her what had happened. They had a conversation. She praised him. Now, but what did he do with that friend? He set a boundary. And he said, "Not going to look at it." Just like, I've shared a few other stories in this series. And any child that can say no and have that refusal skill, basically, "No, I'm not going to look at that. I don't want to look at that," has then set a boundary. And this is what we want to teach them and praise them.
Yes.
When they do that, and then when they come back to us and tell us, what had happened, we want to praise them and say, "You know what? You set a boundary. That was a boundary, and you set that boundary, and good for you," because we all need to have boundaries. We need to teach people what we want to see and what we want them to share with us. And then we have more control, right? We have more control. So I guess that's my short answer, is you teach your child what you expect of them, and then kind of encourage them that, especially as they get a little older, that, they can set boundaries. That's okay. They don't need to put up with people. Another little thing I say is that when teach your child that when someone comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to show you something on my phone. Hey, look at this," that they say, "What do you want to show me? Tell me first." Now, sometimes they're going to still shove it in their face, but they can still turn away and say, "You know what?" And you can practice responses with them, right? So that will change. I can't really give you the perfect response, because that will change depending on the child, depending on the local vernacular, right? But if a child says, you know what, I'm not into that, not my thing, whatever, so that child is sticking up for themselves. And this can really bleed into all, this really should be in all areas of their life. We want to empower our children with boundaries and the concept that they can have boundaries. I mean, even my little grandson, if he doesn't want to give grandma a hug, I try not to push it.
No, everything you're saying resonates with me as over here at Lighthouse for Life with trying to teach people how to break traditional or, like you say, geographic norms of like, oh, well, we're at the family reunion. You need to go hug everybody. I don't even know their names. Or like you say, setting that boundary of like, may I, like I have nephews.
Yeah,
and
can I have a hug? Yeah.
hug you today? Or, if the little one's not feeling it, not pressing in and just letting them say no.
Right.
Affirming that.
And I haven't been perfect. Sometimes I'll scoop that little 2-year-old up in my arms, but I try.
Yeah.
I try.
Yeah. I bet you that you're a lot closer, and we're changing the cultural norms of.
When I was a kid, you had to. That was like, you go kiss your whatever, and you had to do it, and you didn't feel any power. So yeah, empowering kids. We also have a great article on protectyoungminds.org called Boundaries, helping kids feel safe. So that's about, a lot of other boundary principles.
Yeah.
And, boundaries take a little work, a little thought to help our children establish them, but it's worth it.